President Sako, thank you very much for being with us. I want to start with asking a very broad question. On October 1st, 2017, the Republic of Ambazonia and your people declared independence. Why?
Thank you. Thank you for that very important question. We declared the restoration of our independence because we were an independent nation. So in 1961, as a British, United Nations British Trust territory, we were granted independence by a UN General Assembly Resolution 1608, which gave us the possibility of independence and then joining. The reason for the joining was that we were supposed to join either Nigeria or French Cameroon, which had become independent a year before. So they said when they give us the instruments of power on the 1st of October, we should have made a choice to join either Nigeria or French Cameroon because we did not have the resources to be able to govern ourselves.
So there was never the third option, whether if you want to be an independent nation of your own.
There was. This is the jargon they used, because you know that joining is a lot losing your independence, right? So but they said they were giving us independence by joining. So that did not make sense. But anyway, that's what they gave us. But the act of independence is derived by the fact that on the 1st of October, the British, the trust system, the trust authority over our nation came to an end. But we had voted by a UN resolution to join French Cameroon as two equal states. Now, the reason why the UN resolution said it should be a federation of two equal states is because we were two independent states. If we're not two independent, we cannot be two equal states in a federation mandated by the United Nations. So that clearly shows that we were a sovereign nation and they were a sovereign nation, and so we're coming together by an act of the United Nations to become a federation of two equal states. So we have been living in illegality throughout, but just by the use of force, manipulation, to keep us under subjugation all this while. But if it were even good for us, if we were enjoying in that fake or failed relationship, probably would have stayed longer. But now we are being killed. We are being systematically eliminated. And so on the 1st of October 2017, the people of Southern Cameroon came out on the streets, about 2 million plus. The images are there, the records are there in the press. And we declared the restoration of our independence.
You're calling it restoration of independence,
yes.
But can you also tell us why that you've waited from 1961 to 2017 to declare the restoration of independence then? What I am trying to ask here is, what are some of the other reasons, the underlying reasons that the people of Ambazonia finally decided that, okay, this is enough, we need to declare independence, we need to be our own nation?
We have been subject to targeted elimination, economic deprivation, despite the fact that we contribute, our nation, our part of the two states contribute more than 60% of the wealth of the whole country. Mm-hmm. We have been systematically denied, discriminated upon, and then targeted for elimination. This has been going on time immemorial, because from one dictator to another dictator imposed by the French, this is what technique they have used. There have not been any sincere dialogue amongst us, so between our peoples. So there have been killings upon killings. There have been summary executions, detentions without trial, and our people are the principal target. if you go, since we declared the restoration of the independence of our nation, we are losing, the rate has only increased. The same atrocities have just increased. Whole communities have been wiped out. Villages, about more than 80, let me just be conservative, more than 80 of our villages have been burned down. The internet was cut just so that images should not go out.
Still, some of the images are quite disturbing. We've seen some of the images.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is what we are suffering. And tell me, what is the crime? What is the crime? We say we came into a gentleman's agreement to get into this thing, even though the agreement was not signed. We have lived together for 56 years. This thing is not working for us. And then the lawyers and the teachers come up to present the demands that this is not working well. What's going on in the educational system? This is not what we bargained for. And the only reply we have is arrest all the leaders. And many are still in prison till today. They have been called terrorists. And many have been summarily executed. We don't know the right figure, because when they pick you from your home, people think you are arrested, you are actually eliminated on the way. But the records we have had through our own contacts is that we have about 3,500 of ours who are locked up in various jails. Where? In the Republic of Cameroon. They judge them for what? For just saying that something is wrong with our staying together. Can we fix it? And so there's no dialogue.
This is just after declaring the restoration of independence? Or?
Yes, it has been going on, but it escalated. Right now, because the moment we did that, they went on and started killing. You know, the day we came out for about 2 million of hours on the streets, they used the same instrument, the same tool they have always used: force and violent repression. They killed hundreds of hours. Hundreds of hours were killed, thinking that when they do that, we shall be scared and we shall withdraw our decision to restore our independence. And that violence only begot more violence. People found a way, they found a need to defend themselves, because these people were decided. If you listen to the audios and videos of the Minister of Communication of the Republic, they promised us hell, that they called us rats, that call us dogs, that they were going to deal with the dogs that come out. And that's it. They killed so many of us. And they were going from door to door, breaking into houses and shooting people, maiming them, shooting some on their legs to maim them, shooting some on their arms so that they will not be able to kill others. And there are many mass graves which even the United Nations sometimes, I mean, there are certain organizations that have tried to go there just to carry out an evaluation. The government of the Republic of Cameroon has refused, and nobody seems to say anything. If they say we are lying or we are exaggerating, what's the right thing to do? They should be able to open their doors to the Red Cross, to the Amnesty International and other organizations, even the United Nations Commission for Human Rights, to go there and carry out an evaluation. They have stonewalled every process of fact-finding in our territory. Yet they want to tell the world that we are lying. This is terrible. That's going on. We have the pictures. And when we show the pictures, they say activists are sending out those pictures. We have the picture. We have the videos. The only thing is that sometimes some of those videos come out that they cannot deny, because some faces are recorded. We don't have that privilege in our territory, because they are mindful of the fact that if recorded, it will further tarnish their image. But this is what they are doing, exactly whatever you have seen in that video of summary killings and execution. That's what is going on freestyle in our territory.
Right. And so the president at the time was President Sissoko Ayuk Tabe.
Yes.
What happened after the independence? What happened to the government, and how did where is he at now?
He after declaring independence, he also gave conditions. The government, I was a member of government then, I was the Undersecretary for Foreign Affairs. He gave conditions for negotiations to take place. He asked for the demilitarization of our territory. He asked for the freeing of all those who were summarily arrested and kept incommunicado without trial, so that would create an atmosphere, and also requested for mediation, international mediation. So he was a man of peace, even with all the killings that were going on. Then the same logic of violence that these people have ever used, they instead sought a way to cross the borders, go to Nigeria, and abduct him and all his leaders, and thinking that that would solve the problem. Because they have always painted the problem as being fomented by some people in the diaspora.
Right.
They don't think that they can explain why thousands of people will rise up to make their voices heard at home. What do you tell people to do that? So they abducted him, and through the complicity of the international community, they were able to repatriate them to La Republique du Cameroon, where he is languishing in some bunker because he is kept in very terrible conditions. He was kept for about 6 months incommunicado. Nobody made any statement. Nobody saw him. Then recently, they said they allowed some of our lawyers to see them. They are not in good condition, in good health conditions, and they are saying that they want to prepare for trial, but it's taking forever. Right. They don't even know why they are still in court.
And after President Tabe, you became the interim president.
Yes.
I have to ask, do you have the same concerns? We know President Tabe was in Nigeria. He was, or him and the other leaders of the Republic of Ambazonia, they were either refugees or asylum seekers, but yet, defying all the international rules and regulations, they were still repatriated to Cameroon. Do you have that fear for yourself?
What happened in Nigeria was a disgrace to the international community of nations, and a disgrace to African leadership, because the president of Nigeria, whoever the powers that be that he worked for to deliver these people who were asylum seekers in his country, thereby going against basic United Nations regulations and treaties concerning the protection of refugees and asylees, and deliver them to somebody who wanted to kill them. It was a disgrace. And I don't think that is going to happen anywhere else. It may happen, but it's not going to happen in the United States. We are not also blind to the fact that being a rogue regime that is capable of anything, and with the sophisticated French services behind them, they will attempt to do things even illegally to get to us. But you know one thing? It is poor calculation for anybody to think that by eliminating Tabe, the leadership, you would take out the movement. This movement is spiritual. It's already in the hearts of the people. Now, when thousands come on the street, it's not because of me. It's because of what they believe in. If the taking away of Tabe, Ayuk Tabe, did not change anything on the ground, why should they think that taking me out will change anything? If we'll do anything, we'll worsen anything, everything. My advice is that leadership is not the problem. Leadership provides an opportunity for dialogue or solutions to be arrived at, because if you take away the head, then there's no mouth that speaks for the people. And how can you talk to a people who are active, agile, and everybody is talking, and you don't have a voice that can speak for them? When you take away their voice, you have made the solution of that problem even impossible.
Yesterday there was quite a large demonstration of Ambazonians. And yourself, you're in U.S. I see more activism on part of your government and the leadership here. What I want to ask first is, what was U.S.'s position on the declaration of the Restoration of Independence first, and what have you been able to achieve here in Washington? Have you been able to speak to different leadership? What's going on?
U.S. has one of our largest population of refugees and asylees and our population in the diaspora. This fight has been going on even long before the restoration of our independence. We have been making frantic efforts to reach the State Department, to reach the White House and other powers that be within this country. But the initial position of the United States was like it is. You know, the international community don't really cherish the idea of, even though we were an independent nation, just the fact that we agreed to join another nation, they don't want to hear that, well, even if it's not good for us, we want to reaffirm our separate identity. They still look at that as some kind of secession. So their position was, first of all, to look at it as an internal affair of an existing country, which is their ally in many ways. But as the atrocities increase, and we are able to bring these atrocities to the knowledge of the US government, this is a country that has institutions, values, and laws. It has started pricking the consciences of many people within the system to think that whatever be the interests behind this, we cannot give a blind eye. We cannot continue to give a blind eye. So the ambassador, US ambassador to Yaoundé, started speaking publicly. Mm-hmm. So we saw that the system, and even told Mr. Biya that he should prepare for his retirement, like Mandela. He should think of his days after he has left office. So that public show of a change, of a shift of position, is what we are counting on. Mm-hmm. And we believe that if we continue what we are doing, sensitizing the people, emphasizing the evils that are going on, and that will make this union, this failed union, impossible to maintain. Mm-hmm. Then we believe that the institutions of this country will finally do the right thing.
So, Mr. President, just 5 days before the declaration of restoration of independence in Ambazonia, in Kurdistan region across the world, we had our own referendum for independence. Mm-hmm. At that time, we had so many different foes and one friend of ours who spoke out. I know that drawing a comparison may be not the best idea, because obviously your situation, your case is quite different from ours. Mm-hmm. But what other countries are there that you see some friendship in? Who are the biggest foes of your independence, and who are the biggest friends of your independence?
Here's the thing. There is the unofficial and the official position of nations. To tell you the truth, everywhere we have entered and we have presented our case clearly as it is, we have had sympathies at the highest levels. Mm-hmm. But that's unofficial. Because officially there are ties and there are interests that come into play, which we have not been able to break through for many reasons. We have nations that if you were just to like us privately, help us privately, and that would be okay, then probably we'll not have a problem. But officially, there are many things that need to shift. Within the AU, you cannot just get one member nation speaking another language because they are a bloc. Within ECOWAS, you cannot extract one nation to speak another language because that's a bloc. If Nigeria is on the side of Paul Biya, then that makes it difficult to extract one nation out of the ECOWAS to take a position on the issues. And if French is controlling about 2/5 of the nations in Africa within the AU, about 1/5 of them are all from French speaking, then you find that even right to the Secretary General now of many organizations, you go in there, you see the presence of the French, and the French lobby is not just here in DC, they are helping them all over the place. So we have not gotten any official recognition of friendship so far, but we have such sympathies that we think that if we build on this, they will be able to get help that will carry our case further into official circles. That's the truth.
Okay, and so I have only a couple of minutes left. Actually, I want to address one other question. That after the declaring independence, after the Eastern Cameroon or the La Republica's troops moved into the Republic of Ambazonia, there were conflicts, there were fights, and people were killed, massacred, maimed, unfortunately. But there are reports of accusing both sides of the conflict of war crimes. What do you say to those reports?
Those who can really commit war crimes are people who have the power to commit them. We don't have even the power to commit any crime because we don't even have what it takes to defend ourselves against an enemy that is armed to the teeth with AK-47s all over the place. This government of the Republic is so desperate to change the narrative. So they put the same soldiers that commit crimes in uniform. What happens? They put off their uniforms. They take those same guns and commit crimes and said, these are done by Ambazonians because they are desperate to change the narrative. They want to cast us as some criminal gangs. When did we start? Why is it that criminal thing is coming just now? When did we start? We should have been criminals all this while. It's not when you have brought your army to invade us and you are killing us mercilessly with impunity, then you start alleging crimes. What do you call crime? Those are all decoys set up by the regime in order to justify their systematic elimination and targeting of our population. They want to deceive that these people are criminals because they call us terrorists. A terrorist is somebody who is using violence to attain his objectives, his political objectives. The aggressor and the person defending himself who is using violence to attain his objectives. It is the aggressor. They came to our territory, more than 15,000 troops in our country, armed to the teeth. Look at their pictures if you can. You will see the kind of guns they are carrying. Look at how armed they are against an armless population that is just asking for their basic right in international law. And then the people arise to defend themselves in any way. They say, no, there's violence on both sides. Self-defense is violence. Those who are attacking us are also committing violence. Which one is moral between the two? Any picture that is presented other than this is just an attempt by the vicious regime to cover their crimes. We are not involved in that. We are not involved in crime. We are desperately trying to defend ourselves to stay alive.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Mr. President of the Republic of Ambazonia. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For the interview. Thank you very much.